Shalom, this is the brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Wakim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwad, who are believing this word, in all truth and in sincerity. Yahweh is the name of the one they ignorantly call God. Yahweh Shai is the name of the one they ignorantly call Jesus. Bahashem is in the name. Rakah is spirit, Kodash is holy, Akyam is brothers, Akwat is sisters. Shalom means peace, and Yasher Allah is Israel in ancient Paleo Hebrew. This is Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 5, and it reads, "And ye have forgotten the exhortation, which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth." Verse 7, "If ye endure chastening, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not?" All right, now I want to go into a lesson through the Spirit on the peaks and valleys of the truth. The scriptures talk about enduring chastening. Yahweh Shai often exhorts to endure chastening. To endure. He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. All right, and I want to go into a lesson on this through the Spirit, because what you find out in this truth is that you're going to go through a series of peaks and valleys, a series of ups and downs, and it's beautiful when you zoom out. When you go further down in Hebrews, the 12th chapter, it talks about chastening for the present moment is not joyous, but grievous. And that likens unto the valleys that we go through. We all go through low moments. When you look at King David and his walk, he had highs and lows in his journey, in his life journey. Scriptures talk about him being a man after Yahweh Shai Shai's own heart. Yet through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shai Shai, he went through highs and lows. Because a part of us being strengthened is the chastening. Yeah, but you have to endure it. 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. Let me grab that real quick. It's 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 13. And it reads, "There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But Yahweh Shai Shai is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able." And this is something that has to be remembered. And the reason I say that is because when you're in those valley moments, it oftentimes feels like it's above that you are able, that is beyond your strength. And all of it is beyond our strength through the Spirit, because it's ultimately the Lord that's doing it. Yet if you endure it, you'll see the other side of it, Lord willing. And this is why often you see our Lord and Savior talk about enduring. The same shall be saved. If you endure, the same shall be saved. Because again, we're going to go through peaks and valleys. This is why Yahweh Shai is known as the author and finisher of our faith. Because it's not over until you see him. All right. Roughly paraphrasing, the scriptures talk about him being the author and finisher of our faith. Meaning when Yahweh Shai returns, that puts a period at the end of the sentence. And we have to have full confidence that what the Lord started in us, he will continue. And we live in a world through the Spirit where we're taught that everything is supposed to be comfortable, that when it hurts, you're going the wrong way if it hurts. But when you look at the scriptures, as we just read in Hebrews the 12th chapter, those that endure chastening, the Lord dealeth with as with sons. And the temptations that we're tempted with is not uncommon to man, meaning the Lord uses situations in this world that's not uncommon to somebody who's not in the truth. The only difference is you understand who's doing it. And you have a certain level of faith and confidence, Lord willing, that the Lord will see you through the other side of it. But that's one thing that the Lord shows us, Lord willing, and at least from my perspective in my short tenure in this truth, you go through a series of peaks and valleys. You never stay on one side. You never stay down fully. You never stay up fully. It's always a revolving door, if you will. And the beauty of the ministry is that, the scriptures say iron sharpeneth iron. The beauty of the scriptures is that a brother will be at a peak and you may be at a valley. Or a brother may be at a valley and you may be at a peak. And I'm not talking about a peak as far as the world, because oftentimes it's the spirit. You have those moments where you're in a valley in the spirit. You're going through certain things. Mental demons are playing on you, and the Lord is testing your fortitude. Yet, if you endure it, there is a other side to it. It won't always feel like that. And this is why Yahweh Shai stresses endurance. All right, so let me finish this. This is 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. And it reads again, there hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But Yahweh Shai is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. But you have to endure it. If you give up, then you're stopping in the middle of the process. All right, matter of fact, and I bring this out often through the Spirit. This is Philippians 1 and 5. For your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And this is where endurance is required. Because again, you don't live in the valley, just like you don't live in the peak. It's a revolving door. But if you endure it, there is another side to it. And one thing I've learned through the Spirit is that that's continual. Because you first come in, the scriptures talk about wisdom taking you through crooked places and then comforting you. And that's your first trial. And it's easy to think that your first trial is your last, but it's not. When you look at Paul's journey, and many of our forefathers for that matter, their journeys were heavy and it was filled with perils. It was filled with peaks. It was filled with valleys. And they had to endure it. Lord willing, we be a part of that number is likewise. And that's why counting the cost is so important, because when you count the cost, you understand that ultimately the Lord called us not to be condemned, but to teach us a lesson. All right, Lord willing, we be a part of that number. And this is why faith is so important. Trusting the process, trusting that the Lord knows what he's doing with you. These things are extremely important. Because if you don't have that trusting Yahweh Shai, when things get dark, it's easy to just give up. Matter of fact, Lord willing, let me find this. Yep, this is Proverbs 24 and 10. And it reads, if thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. And why is that? Because what is your strength? Your strength is your trusting Yahweh Shai. We're not strong alone. We have nothing by ourselves and of ourselves. It's all of the Lord. But if you're not confident that the Lord is going to complete the process he started in you, then your strength is small. Your faith is small. Because the scriptures tell us that the Lord will never put on us more than we can bear. Knowing that alone should be enough through the Spirit, that when it gets dark, you trust the process. And sometimes that means trusting the process against your own body and against your own thoughts. And I'll never forget, Apostle Gabar talks about this, the darkest hour. Because the scriptures were left aforetime for our learning, that we might have hope. And we witnessed Yahweh Shai's darkest hour in the garden. We witnessed that in the scriptures, according to the records. But guess what he said? He said, be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. So even in his darkest moment, he said, not my will, but thy will, roughly paraphrasing. Meaning even in the midst of his flesh sweating blood for the terror that awaited him concerning the chastening, concerning the crucifixion, he still trusted the Lord in the midst of that. And what the Lord is doing is a series of ups and downs to train us to trust him in the midst of all adversity. And it's easier said than done. That's why the scriptures talk about chastening in the moment is not joyous, but grievous. But if we endure chastening, the Lord deals with us as with sons. And this is why enduring it is important. And part of enduring it is perspective. Understanding that you're going to go through peaks and valleys in this truth. And it don't mean you wicked, all right, because you hit a low moment, because your flesh is getting to you. You're only wicked if you give up. That's why Yahushua said, enduring to the end. You got to go against your flesh. You have to fight against the thoughts in your mind. You have to, especially when those doubt demons, those carnal demons, when they attack you, you have to fight it with the flesh. You have to fight it with the spirit against the flesh. And understand that you're going to continue to go through these type of battles. It don't stop. Until we see Yahushua, it does not stop. And that's a part of counting the cost. The Lord will never leave you in the valley, just like he'll never leave you at a peak. You're going to go through a series of ups and downs. And that's how the Lord facilitates growth. All right. Matter of fact, this is 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and verse 22. And it reads, let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. Now, how did the Lord make it perfect? Let's go here. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 5. And it reads, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. So through that furnace of adversity, the Lord makes men that are more precious than fine gold, but you have to endure it. And understand that it's always going to be something. It's always going to be an up and a down. That is a part of the journey that the Lord has called us into, Lord willing, unto the end. That the Lord has called us to go through trials and tribulations, but Lord willing, not to be condemned with the world. And that is a part of our journey. Understanding that there will be peaks and there will be valleys. If you think about King David's journey from Goliath, to, the situation with Uriah, Absalom, even in King David's fourth quarter of life, if you will, having to crown Solomon against Adonijah, because Adonijah was trying to basically crown himself, even though the Lord had allowed King David to choose Solomon. That was already written in the script. But Adonijah tried to, basically in a roundabout way, usurp the throne. So even on King David's deathbed, he had a trial. And this is why trusting Yahweh Shema Shah is so important, because I bring that out because even in King David's fourth quarter of life, he still dealt with a peak and a valley. It was still a situation he had to deal with. And that's continuous. And once you make peace with that, as our beloved Apostle Tahar says often, learning to love to suffer. It's not that you look forward to it. It's just you understand it more. You understand that this is a part of your journey. Apostle Gabar said it best. We were called to suffer. There are moments of peaks where we are given a level of comfort, but you don't stay there, just like you don't stay in the valley forever. The Lord gives you those ups and downs, and that's how we grow. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rokah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim. who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.